Hi, my name is Johanna Heiser with Smith's Jewelers on the Square in Noblesville, Indiana. We want to highlight some of the organizations that make our community a better place. Today, I've got Kelly McVey. Welcome.
Thanks.
She is founder and president of Indiana Peony Festival Incorporated. I would like just to know some of your background before the festival endeavors.
Well, I grew up here in Noblesville.
Okay.
I worked on the square when I was in high school and college. So this town is very special to me, especially the downtown. And I went to Ball State, and I've just always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I started a pharmaceutical reverse distribution company when I was like 25.
Oh my gosh.
Did that for, 15 years or so. Sold it, or we did returns for like big clients, Albertsons, trying to think of some of the others, Kroger. It was a 30,000 square foot facility with about 50 employees, and so sold that. And not too long after that, I started a magazine, and that's how I got to know you.
I know. Tell us more about the magazine.
Oh, well, I just felt like, there was a certain demographic of women that weren't being spoken to very often, and we needed to highlight some of the wonderful places in our area. So kit meant putting it into a kit for women. That's what the magazine was called.
Okay.
And that's how I got started with Smith Jewelers and getting to know both you guys and Esther and Odell before you. And then soon after that, obviously, started the festival. So.
Okay, so tell me, where did your love of peonies start?
There was a time in between the selling my business and starting Kit Magazine where my sisters and I thought we would have a business together.
Okay.
And it didn't work out. I mean, we love each other, but we couldn't work together and farm together. So we wanted to have a flower farm.
Okay.
And my sister said, hey, why don't we grow peonies? And I was like, really? What about the ants? And I just saw them from a distance, like out at farms, and I thought, oh, they're an old lady flower. Why would we want to grow them? So she convinced us. I think we planted a couple hundred plants that year, and then we started, and I just fell in love instantly. When I first saw the first peony, I was like, oh my, and I had no idea it was our state flower, the varieties, and then we sold them at farmers markets, and I was just, I was not the only one. I could tell that so many people felt like I did about the peony, and it's just so special. It's a fleeting flower, like it comes and goes, but that's what makes it so special. Yeah.
So at what point did you decide you wanted to start something peony related? So you sold this business, talked to your sisters about, maybe doing something peony related, and then did the magazine. How did you navigate those waters of starting such an incredible festival?
Well, that's a good question. I had the magazine, and the whole time I had the magazine, I also had this presentation about having a festival one day. Okay. And we would highlight the peony every year in the magazine, and I would talk to city officials. I had this presentation that I would give them for like probably 15 years, and they all kind of looked at me like, really? And
you should call them up now.
I know,
like, look.
I should. Esther Lakes was the one that said, hey, Kelly, they're renovating Seminary Park. Why don't you put peonies in Seminary Park? And I was like, okay, well, how is that going to get me my festival is kind of what I thought when she said that. I thought that's a good gesture. We'll start there. But then I met with the Parks Department and saw the layout, and I was like, oh my gosh, this will be the perfect place for our sweet little festival. And I convinced them, or we convinced them, to plant about 150 peonies about 4 years ago, maybe longer. 2019, the fall of, yep. Okay. And that first year, I looked out over the crowd, and I thought, I just knew. I was like, I'm gonna have to do this full time because it's gonna be that big. And about a year later, I realized that I just had to do it full time. Yeah, so it was some, I forget about all the challenges leading up to and trying to get people convinced to do it, but yeah, it's so exciting now how everybody's so excited about it. And
I love your tenacity in starting new things. Like it seems like you've consistently been like a go-getter. Like I have this dream and I'm gonna conquer it, and then you move on to the next chapter consistently. So I think that's really awesome.
Thanks.
I love the story where you are, I think I don't know if it was Chris Jensen that you were talking to, but the story of like, this festival is going to be so big. Can you tell us that story?
Well, Mayor Chris Jensen had just become mayor, I think.
Okay.
And I said, we have to meet and just talk about this. And he probably thought this is going to be some tiny little flower festival, but he met with me, and in that meeting I said, you don't realize it, but at some point we're going to have a cocktail, that is bigger than the mint julep, and this thing is going to be bigger than the Kentucky Derby. And he was probably just like, really, Kelly? But so I can't remember the whole story, how it went, sorry, but it was him that just really believed in me, though, too. Yeah. He really did. And he came to the first festival, and he's been there from the very beginning, which is so great.
So the first festival, was the first festival in what year was the first festival?
Actually, it was supposed to be 2020.
Okay.
But then COVID hit, so it was 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the fourth?
This is the fourth year.
So how has it grown from the first year to the second year to the third year?
Well, attendance alone has grown from probably somewhere between 5 and 10 the first year to probably 30,000 last year.
5 to 10,000.
Yes, 5 to 10,000, sorry.
Okay.
And last year, Hamilton County Visitors Bureau estimated we had well over 25,000 people.
That's incredible. In this tiny little town.
I know. And I think it's just done wonders for our downtown too, which is what is really important to me.
Yeah.
Is our wonderful little downtown in Noblesville.
Yeah. So, okay. So talking about the festival this year, so I know there are several different events for like the weekend. So the kickoff would be the VIP event, correct?
Right.
And that is Friday night. And Smith's Jewelers is very excited to raffle off a designer necklace. So we're super excited about that. But tell us, if you want to go to that event, like how to do that, and then what to expect at the event.
Okay. There are still just a few tickets available.
So it is limited attendance for the Friday night.
Yep, we have a little over 200 that can attend, and we're just about at our capacity.
Okay.
But this year we've teamed up with 9th Street Bistro, which is a wonderful chef here in downtown Noblesville. And he has coordinated some of the best chefs from Indy.
I'm excited. So if you're a foodie, you definitely want to come.
Yeah.
Just for the food alone, and then you've got the peonies on top of it.
So we have a tasting from 7 different chefs throughout the Indianapolis area, from Bluebeard to Can to 9th Street to Geodore Pastry so we've got a really great lineup of food. We also will have 3 of the most beautiful artists that paint peonies, and that will be doing plein air there. So they will be depicting the night, which will be beautiful. We have floral designers that will be putting together right in front of us, like floral displays. We have the Smith Jewelers raffle, which is going to be awesome, the most beautiful diamond necklace. And you get to see these beautiful floral displays firsthand. And the night, when you see the park all done up that night before, I mean, we just had to have our kickoff the night before because it's all ready to go. It's beautiful. And before the crowds, before everything, we have just a wonderful group of people, peony cocktails, and so.
Sounds so much fun. I'm very excited about Friday night. So then Saturday is the big day, the day of the festival. So just tell me kind of like when does it start? When can people get there? And then what are all the things that you can experience while you're like at the actual festival part on Saturday? And then is there a charge for that, or is that?
The festival's free. It's, free to the public. It's from 10 to 4. And people do get there earlier than 10, but we're trying to discourage that so that all the vendors can get set up and ready. But you will find anything peony you've ever wanted. I mean, we have peony farmers from all over the state with just an amazing array of peonies. We have then the peony displays where you can take photos all over the park and downtown. We'll have wonderful food from over 20 different food vendors. We have about 120 vendors, and the amount of beautiful pottery and art and every one of them has peony inspired items.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. So you've got the festival, and then I know there's also like it's a branch off the festival, but Brunch and Blooms. So then can you tell me a little bit about Brunch and Blooms and how that's related to the festival?
So after the first year, we realized that people do go down. I mean, it's only a few blocks, and so people go downtown as well. And we really wanted to formalize that. It allows us to kind of extend our footprint to downtown, and it also kind of formalizes the whole celebration with downtown businesses. So it's kind of what we call our brunch and retail crawl. So we have so many great restaurants downtown, and they all are going to have peony-inspired cocktails and mimosas and brunch items, so you can eat just about anywhere and outdoor in the alleys as well. So that's awesome. And then all of our retailers, there's about 40 of them that are doing peony promotions, and they're decorating their windows in peony. You know, the amount of, and they all go all out. Peony t-shirts, like Sid's, the most famous, bar, they're doing peony inspired, and so is Silver Dollar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so just all kinds of fun stuff that you're not going to find every day. So you got to go out and experience it that day. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a personal story that has impacted you related to the festival?
One particular story is so wonderful that happened last year, and it all has to do with Smith's and the raffle that you guys did, the diamond bracelet that I think, was it worth like $11,000?
Yeah, it was like $11,000.
Yeah, so it was a huge raffle, super exciting, and they picked the winner, and nobody knew who it was. I mean, it wasn't anybody local, and they kept calling her, and then she finally answered, and it ended up being a woman from New Jersey that drove in alone just to experience the festival, went to the VIP event alone, bought one raffle ticket, and on her way back found out she won. So she came back and loved you guys and loved the experience. So she's coming back every year. It's just a great, heartwarming story, both for us that somebody will come from Jersey. I don't even know how she found out about it, to be honest. And then win your wonderful, it was a great story that it was somebody from out of town, and
yeah, it reminds me of Hoosier hospitality.
Yes, so people really get to see what we're all like. It was great.
That's wonderful. It was a great experience being able to raffle off a diamond bracelet of that value, and then see her face and her shock and her like, oh my gosh, you're letting me walk out with this bracelet? And we're like, yes. So yeah, it was wonderful for us as well. What do you see the legacy of the festival being?
I think a couple of things. I think, one of the major things is obviously going to be the beauty that these peonies are going to bring to our community. You already see what they're doing in Seminary Park. I mean, it's amazing, but we're just now starting to see what they're doing in downtown. Like if you go to the courthouse and you go to the west side of the courthouse, oh my gosh, the amount of yellow peonies that are blooming around the courthouse. I've had so many people already come to me and saying, oh my gosh, and that is going to be all over town, which is amazing. We have maybe 40 locations that are on the Peony Trail, and then we'll have that big Pleasant Street Parkway will have 650 peonies. So that's one big thing, is just the beauty it's going to bring to our community. And I think the identity, like we have such a beautiful town and such a beautiful county, and now we get to highlight it. And we highlight it in the best month ever, May, when we have so many people in for the race. It's just a great way for people to come up, experience it, whether they can come on Festival Day or not. Now they can come all through May and into June and see the beauty of Noblesville. Yeah, I mean anytime, but specifically that time.
Specifically,
yeah.
I love that. we are also raffling off a peony necklace during the festival, which I think I, don't know if I mentioned earlier. So we're super excited. We'll have 3 peony necklaces on the day of the festival. So that'll be so much fun. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for joining us. It has been a pleasure as always. And peonies for us, we have a saying, jewelry is the perfect accessory for any outfit, and peonies are the perfect accessory to Noblesville. So please come to the festival. It's going to be a great time. And thank you again, Kelly, for joining us.
Thanks, Johanna.